Good morning. This is Yolanda Mohalin and welcome to my blog. Our topic for this morning is all about approaches of stylistics. There are 6 approaches in stylistic. But before that, I will introduce you first the 3 approaches. We have style as choice, style as man, and style as devotion. Style as choice. Choice is very vital instrument of stylistics since it deals with the variations and the options that are available to an author. Style as man. This is based on the notion that every individual has his or her own unique way of doing things and that no two persons are exactly the same character. Style as deviation. When an idea is presented in a way that is different from the expected way, then we say such a manner of carrying it out has deviated from norm.
Hello everyone, I am Giselle Faith Pontanar, and today we're going to talk about the other half of the approaches of style in stylistics. So, the fourth approach of style in stylistics is the style as conformity. But before going deeper, let us unlock first what does conformity mean. Conformity is the state of agreeing or obeying something. Okay, so now that we're ready, let us look at the definition of the style as conformity. Style as conformity. Conformity is the first available option to a writer. The writer here chooses to conform to the established format in the use of language that is expected for a text to earn acceptability. It is the writer's decision to conform or deviate from the norms. A major weakness of this style is that it tends to create creativity, making it look like as the style as deviation. Style as conformity is often strictly enforced in certain fields and circumstances. This is often in academic or educational field as regard students' research projects. Most of the time, conformity is the prerequisite of acceptability. The best example of writings that uses style of conformity are academic writings such as thesis, research papers, essays, and dissertations and other research projects. The fifth approach of style in stylistics is the style as period or time. Style may also relate to time or period. This is so because language is dynamic. It is always changing. A period usually dictates the style employed by the writers. The style of any given period has recognizably predominant features that make such a period distinct. When we look at a script in Old English now, it will seem as if it were written in different language because of the difference in syntax, vocabulary, and spelling. Even with the so-called modern English, there are variations. Now, we have come to the sixth approach of style in stylistics, the style as situation. Usually, language is used according to situations or circumstances. It is the context that determines language choice in speaking or writing. Certain words are appropriate for certain occasions, while some are considered taboo, vulgar, or abominable. For example, when you go to a party, and especially if it is a formal one, it is really expected that the language that you should use is also formal. In this type of approach, in style and stylistics, the situation or circumstance is given much consideration to what language should be used. Now that you've heard all the 6 approaches of style and stylistics, you are now ready to proceed to the next lesson. Enjoy!
Good day, my dear learners. This is your teacher, Arniel Redera, and at this moment, I will be discussing the first 3 types of the repetition, the epimone, the anaphora, and the epiphora. And without any further ado, let's proceed to the discussion. The first types of repetition to be discussed is the epimone. It is the repetition of a phrase question for emphasis or to dwell on a point. It is from a Greek word that means delay. And for you to be able to understand very well, I will read to you an example of epimone. Nobody ever helps me into carriages or over mud puddles or gives me any best place. And ain't I a woman? Look at me. Look at my arm. I have plowed and planted and gathered into barns, and no man could head me. And ain't I a woman? I could work as much and eat as much as a man, when I could get it and bear the lash as well. And ain't I a woman? I have borne 13 children and seen most all sold off to slavery. And when I cried out with my mother's grief, none but Jesus heard me. And ain't I a woman? And that was the example of the epimone. The phrase, and ain't I a woman, is the epimone example. And the next is the epiphora and the anaphora. The epiphora is an exact counterpart of another figure of speech, anaphora. An anaphora is a repetition of a first part of successive sentences. Whereas in an epiphora, repetition occurs in the last part of the successive clauses or sentences. For example, every day, every night, in every way, I am getting better and better. That is the example of anaphora because the word every is repeated in the successive clauses. Next is, I am an American. He is an American, and everybody here is an American. That exhibits epiphora as the repetition is in the last part of the successive clauses. Despite being different in their structures, both anaphora and epiphora have the same functions of laying emphasis on a particular point. And those are the first 3 types of the repetition, the epimone, the epiphora, and the anaphora. And I am really hoping you learn about this video. Thank you so much. This is teacher Arniel Redera.
Hi everyone, this is Giselle Padilla, and this is our blog topic about linguistic stylistic repetition. And now, let's continue our topic about repetition of stylistic linguistics. So, our topic for today is all about repetition. So now, let's continue our topic about mesodiplosive Swahili. So, mesodiplosive, repetition of a word in the middle of every line of clause. For example, we are perplexed, but not with despair, persecuted, but not forsaken, cast down, but not destroyed. The clause there is using but not. But not is the word repeated in the clause. So next, episioxis or polylogia. It is repetition of the same word or phrase without any words in between. So for example, row, row, row your boat. Just like a song, row, row, row your boat. So that is the word repetition of same word or phrase without any words in between.
Hello everyone! My name is Ariel Mansalini. For this video, we're going to tackle about the nature and the goals of stylistics. So the first is stylisticians. So there are the various of overlapping sub-discipline of stylistics, and a person who studies any of these known as a stylistic. So the first one, we have literary stylistics. The second one is evocative stylistics. So the third one is interpretative stylistics. And the fourth one is discourse stylistics. And the fifth one is cognitive stylistics. The sixth one is purpose stylistics. And the seventh one is feminist stylistics. And lastly is computational stylistics. Have a great day everyone. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Hello everyone, my name is Stephanie Ortiz, and for this video I'm going to talk about the nature and the goals of stylistics and what are the elements of style in literature. So far we know that stylistics is a branch of applied linguistics concerned with the study of style in text, especially but not exclusively in literary works. Also called literary linguistics, stylistics focuses on the figures, tropes, and other rhetorical devices used to provide and distinctness to someone's writing in linguistics analysis plus literary criticism. So now we're going to talk about the stylistic devices. These are techniques to give an additional and or supplemental ideas, meaning, or feelings. This is also known as figures of speech or rhetorical devices. There are many stylistic devices in literature, but today we're just only going to talk about few. When I say few, only 4 stylistic devices in literature or figures of speech, such as metaphor, simile, personification, and hyperbole. So bear with me until the end. Metaphor is a comparison in which one thing is said to be another. Like for example, my mom is a teddy bear. Now, my mom is a teddy bear doesn't mean that my mother is a teddy. It's just like the character of a mother is very loving parent. She is kind, and of course she's always there whenever you need her. So in metaphor, we're using 2 different things with the same character. Now we're down with the simile. Simile is a rhetorical device which is you compare 2 different things using like and as. Like for example, as tall as a giraffe. Personification is when a writer gives a human qualities to animals or objects. Examples: my car drank the gasoline in one gulp, or the cat laughed. and the newspaper headline glared at me. Hyperbole, an exaggerated statement. Like, for example, my backpack weighs a ton. It means that my backpack is heavy. We also have these elements of style in literature. One of the elements of style in literature is the character development. Character development is how a character changes throughout the story, just like the life of Cinderella. The next is the dialogue. When you say dialogue, this is lines spoken or the internal thoughts of someone.